Hey Carl, if I were to jump inside your body, would you let me? Please?
Yeah, I love a little parasite inside my body.
A little symbiote.
Why don't you slither on in with your tentacles and whatnot?
My name's Oscar.
My name's Carl,
And
and
this
this
is
is Who Would Watch This.
Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast where we, watch a bad film and figure out who the heck's gonna watch it. Who would watch this?
Who would watch this? Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Venom. It currently has a 6.7 on IMDb, a Letterboxd rating of 2.8, and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 29%. Oscar, if you can make sense of the plot, be my guest.
A failed reporter is bonded to an alien entity, one of many symbiotes. Symbiotes, not biodes. Symbiotes, who have invaded Earth. But the being takes a liking to Earth and decides to protect it. Did you expect this? Going in.
Alright, Oscar, before we jump into Venom, let's rewind to when our younger selves hadn't seen the movie and tried to guess who they thought would watch it.
I've not seen Venom. Have you seen Venom?
I did. I saw Venom in cinemas, and I've never seen it again.
And you've wanted to do this with the podcast, and I've heard awful things about this. Even though it's got I think it made a lot.
Some
of money.
people have rallied behind it. I remember not thinking it was particularly good, but boy, did I think Tom Hardy did a brave performance and holds the film afloat in a Nicolas Cage style level of acting.
Okay, I'm pretty excited. It made a lot of money, didn't it?
Yeah, it made like 850, I want to say, maybe more.
That's insane. I remember talking to someone because I think they were going to watch the film. I think they were like, "Is it a Marvel film?" And I was like, yeah, no, it's not. Like, it doesn't connect. They're like, but isn't Spider-Man? I'm like, what? Strange. It's so hard. I'm not even that big of a fan of the superhero stuff, but it's so hard to explain to somebody the relationship to all these films.
Yeah, because it's so this should have a connection to Spider-Man. It's also made by Sony.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take place in the MCU.
Yeah.
But Sony's made another movie with Jared Leto called Morpheus, which is another Spider-Man villain, and Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming is in that. So who knows?
God, this is...
And I feel like you'd be like Kevin Feige, being like, Sony, you're really fucking me up here.
Yeah,
leave the shit that I want on my side, do what you want on your side, stop trying to connect my films to yours.
When they make I'm sure they have it, a massive Marvel DVD collection. It's gonna be all the Avengers films perfect, and then at the end it's
all the shitty Sony ones.
Yeah, they're just well, fuck. Technically it is, but fuck off. Venom's not part of this one, so I'm excited.
I don't think it's for Venom fans. I don't recall them doing Venom justice as a character.
Mm-hmm.
So who's it for? Maybe Tom Hardy fans. I don't really remember it being for anyone, to be honest, but for some reason people latched onto it, so...
I might double down. I've only seen Venom as Topher Grace. Yeah?
Phenomenal performance as Topher Grace.
So, if it is anything like that, it is me that'll be watching it. Because I like that. I like that performance. I think he nails it.
Interesting.
Who would watch this? Me.
You a big fan of Spider-Man 3?
I was when it first came out. I think I was 10. I remember.
Thought it was phenomenal when it came out.
I thought that Sandman scene, I think, was the first time I seen it. I went, wow, emotional. Now thinking back, I go, ooh, okay. I definitely don't think it's as bad as people say, but when they show that Peter Parker scene where he's in the black and the emo thing, it is
the best scene committed to film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh god, so much dancing in that movie. Maybe we'll do Spider-Man 3 on the podcast. It's a giant mess, really.
Yeah.
Oh god. Alright. Oscar, who do you reckon that's for again?
Topher Grace fans. No, not fans. Because you...
Just Topher Grace.
Just Topher Grace, because he wants it to be worse than his performance. It's yes, nailed it.
He must be like, oh yes, who's going to make me look good? And then was like, oh, Tom Hardy, god damn it.
He played two people once and did great.
Drats. I don't like that movie.
I don't like the movie at all, actually.
Yeah, Legend's a bad film.
I don't think it's impressive what he does, but
Yeah,
it's
he's
just-
great. Tom Hardy never fucking phones it in.
No. Let's see if he does in this film. Carl, listening to that, you're insane. Tom Hardy is the most unhinged man committed to film. What the fuck?
This is, and rewatching this, so funny though, because I don't remember liking it. I thought I enjoyed this movie so much more than I did last time.
I genuinely think it's one of the best films we've reviewed.
Yeah, I think it might be the best film we've ever reviewed.
However, it's not because it's...
No, it's not. It's not because it does what it's doing right.
It's accidentally stumbled into this gorgeous little romantic comedy, and Tom Hardy is, I think, the most unhinged man.
He's taken a page out of Russell Crowe's book, put it in over here. It's... Oh, wow. It's the only LGBT plus superhero, really.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the makeout scene in this movie gets me fully taut. I
Oh, it
cannot wait
does.
to discuss.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I love it,
I
but
love
it's
it.
such a fucking disaster.
It's so manic. It's so manic. Shall we jump into it?
Let's jump into it.
Oh,
Spaceship. In the sky. Immediately.
God.
I'm like, okay.
You mustn't have thought it was going to start here.
No, I did not think it was going to start here.
My favorite thing is the movie that does the little spaceship thing, and then it goes to just East Malaysia. And
Yeah.
I went, I wonder how many people thought the title was just East Malaysia before Venom came
Oh,
out.
shit. I
I'm in
booked
the
another
wrong
ticket to
cinema.
East. Get out of here. I want to see Venom, but kiss a girl. The spaceship crashes, and I love it, because the astronauts are somehow on the ground. Like,
They've fallen out.
Yeah, on this airtight spaceship. Anyway, okay, so on the spaceship, what is on the spaceship, Carl?
Simbies.
Simbies.
I struggle to say the name, and so I've decided to cut it down into Simbies.
That's fine, because
I'll be referring to Simbies the whole podcast.
because apparently people got annoyed because I think in the movie they call it symbiotes,
Yeah.
but it's symbiotes, and they
According to who?
nerds.
Right, okay.
that are big fans of
I'm going to
Symbi.
call it a Simbi.
They call it a Symbi. I think that's absolutely fine.
I think it makes it cute.
Symbi. They are quite cute.
Venom's
Anyway,
so fucking cute.
oh, it's
I'd
adorable.
adopt Venom.
Oh, but you don't get to see Venom for so long.
Oh, for like 40 minutes.
God.
Instead, we see a lot of Riz Ahmed. And I love Riz Ahmed, and I think he should be getting the Oscar this year for Sound of Metal. But boy, is he completely underused in this film and does nothing of
I
merit.
wouldn't say underused, abused. He's just like, hey, I've got the writing wise, I've got only monologues for you. What can you do with that? He's like, okay.
You know, he definitely needed some fucking... I love when there's like an actor who's only been doing indie prestige films and they just turn up in a piece of shit blockbuster, and it's like, somebody needed to pay some bills.
Someone wanted
to
a new
highlight-
kitchen.
Yeah.
Someone wanted a new tile kitchen. And the Sundance films weren't really cutting it.
No. Jenny Slate's here too.
Again, really underused. I don't think she gets a joke in. And not that she's just a comedic actor.
No. But I love Jenny Slate,
Yeah.
and I usually really vibe her comedy.
Mm.
So I was like, disappointing. Was just glad to see her in a big budget
Again,
film,
it's just
though.
like, you're just like, oh, thank God, you have a lot of money now.
Because the director comes from comedy and sitcoms.
Yeah.
So I can understand why
He mixes these people
there's
together.
there's a mix of always just like some comedic actors that he's liked or worked with before and pilots that haven't taken off or stuff.
Yeah.
Because apparently he's a giant pilot guy.
Really does a
Ruben
lot of
Fleischer.
like he
Yeah.
does a lot of pilots and they don't get made? Is that
So like he's usually like he'll get hired to like do a pilot.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And like yeah, some don't get made, but apparently like 1 in 12 pilots don't
So-
usually get done. Sorry, no. Like only 1 in 12 get made. So
Gotcha,
it's
gotcha.
like yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
He also directed Zombieland, which I adore. I think that's a really good film. I haven't rewatched it in a while, but I remember really liking it at 16.
Yeah.
But that's probably who it's for. But
It definitely is. It's still fun.
Oh, that's good.
Like I think as his movies have not all been good, he seems to know how to keep pace and keep things light. So
Tick.
sometimes that's all you really need for a pass.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the man's getting a fucking pass from me tonight.
Oh, 100%. This is the most enjoyable one we've done.
Yeah.
One, it's a nuts film, but also it's, again, We'll jump into it. Anyway, on the spaceship is 4 Symbies.
Symbies.
They're in...
Ding, ding, ding. Symbies. Real
one,
manic.
One gets released. And
his name is Riot.
I didn't know. I thought they were all called Venom. So I was
what? You gotta get him. Get him. It's Venom.
We'll
Venom.
get copyrighted M&M's right outdoors.
That's why I'm saying it's wrong. Hit him. Hit him. Get him. Venom.
Okay, so yeah. If you can't hear that, get your ears tested.
Bunch of dogs really into me right now.
Our podcast stats just jump through the roof. We've got what we call the dog market. Okay, so
they're gonna love the cats episode.
Oh, they're gonna do cats and dogs.
The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
Yes. Oh, what's that? No. Okay, stop.
9 Lives.
Yeah.
Mr. Fuzzy Pants.
Anyway, so Riot.
Yeah. So Riot latches onto somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They take them in an ambulance. The ambulance rolls 9-10 times.
God, it does, doesn't it?
It doesn't. So many cuts, and it was just like roll. It's like they were like, and record, and somebody pushed the ambulance onto one side, cut it.
It's stop motion.
Yeah. Just a stop motion roll of it. Oh god! And then it's like Venom, and I went, what a weird opening.
I think I read that they were like, the test screen was like, it's a bit boring to start off with. And they're like, let's give them spaceships.
I'm not surprised to hear that. I thought for sure that the Riot getting from the spaceship all the way to the central plot would 100% be a reshoot. Because it really makes no sense or impact on the film.
No.
And then when Riz Ahmed finally meets Riot, it's like a 2-person scene.
Yeah.
And it makes real no sense for Riz Ahmed or that girl to be where they are at that time.
Of course, you're right, yeah.
So I thought for sure it had to be an insert. So I'm not surprised to hear that this is probably just inserted.
Yeah.
I thought it stood out like a sore thumb. Didn't think it made any sense.
But then we get Tom Hardy.
Oh my god.
Tom Hardy is vlogging the news.
It's David Dobrik if he was a
What is up, you guys? The US military's just invaded Iraq.
I'm bringing you all of the news. I was like, who's his fucking videographer filming him on that motorbike?
I don't think he's a cameraman. I think he just is that balls to the wall. Because I don't think... So what I know is Eddie Brock is sort of like similar to Peter Parker, kind of a loser, but a bit more competent, I'd say.
He's also supposed to be really big in build, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of works for Tom Hardy here. What is Tom Hardy doing, character-wise?
I love it. Because you know for a fact, Tom Hardy rocked up and went, I haven't read the script, and I'm not going to listen to anyone. Now let's record.
You're actually completely right. Genuinely. There's a scene, and we'll talk about it later, that he was just like, I'm doing this.
It sounds like it. There was an interview with Ruben Fleischer, and he was talking about just Tom Hardy being like, couldn't really handle him, went with the punches. Like,
fair enough.
He's apparently just like a big yes man for Sony, so they're just like, we need this now, and he's like, all right. Cool. And he'll just do it with positivity, and if the movie's like whatever, he's like happy with the cut, and is like, there you go.
There you go.
So
he's $800 million. They're chuffed.
Yeah. So, because I was like, oh, they mustn't have been happy because they replaced him for the sequel, and then they just gave him Uncharted. So it's like, well, they just gave him more money.
No. He dropped out, and I think this is because the critical score was super bad.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't. He's done. I think he's 2 positive films. They're just Zombieland and Zombieland 2, critically. Yeah. And then Gangster Squad and this.
Oh, I haven't watched Gangsters. I watched it in cinemas. I wasn't a fan, but I was very young. Okay.
It's bad. It's so stylized. It makes no sense for that plot.
Tom Hardy
is in love because he plays around with pillows.
What?
It's how you know that him and his
and
Michelle Williams are in love. They play with pillows.
They play with pillows. He's like, I'm tired from filming the news. She's like, get up, have a coffee.
Seems like he doesn't have a job.
No.
So I don't know why he's tired.
Yeah, because it seems like he just goes to a random location, asks some like intrusive questions to like anybody, and then's like, all right, that's me done. That was 42 minutes. I'm done. I'm convinced that I'm convinced the script called for like, and now we're going to show the 2 of you in love, and he's like, I'm hungover.
I'm going to shoot this from bed. And you just film around my demand.
I'm gonna get me a coffee. That's Michelle Williams. I don't care. Just get me something. I'm hungry. So she is a lawyer that works for Riz Ahmed's company.
Yeah.
We could be calling him by his actor's name. Why the fuck is his whole name? Why do they refer to him as Drake? I think this is foolish because I just immediately think the rapper Drake. I don't know why they don't call him his first name and stuff. I don't get it. I'm sure in the comic books he's that, but I don't know. The name Drake is so synonymous.
I know
with the rapper Drake. Call him by his first name, address it, but they immediately go Drake.
Call him Rake.
That could work.
Ake or D
or K.
Call him D. Call him DD.
That could work. I'm pretty threatened by him.
Hey, DD. And Riz Ahmed's like, yes.
He is like, I love it. Because, like, I think this was just before Elon Musk was, like...
A thing?
A thing?
Yeah.
Like, mega. So, like, this cliche of, like, an evil, massive guy. And Elon Musk is just him.
Yeah.
So he is, like, works in space and pharmaceuticals. But Eddie...
There's no correlation.
No correlation.
Yeah, he's... Because for so long I went, what's his fucking plan?
Because, what's it called? Tom Hardy is, like, interviewing him for his job. He's like, so at 17 you made a pharmaceutical company. And at 24 you were like, screw that, let's use this to go to space. And Riz Ahmed's like, I guess that's what I did. Really?
How awful of an interviewer is he?
He is so bad.
He's like, you like spaceships. Anyway, thoughts? Like, really bizarre. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about, because he goes in for a meeting. Yeah. And they insinuate that he used to have a network show. And I was like,
the Eddie Brock Report.
No way to the Eddie Brock show.
It sounds like a sketch comedy show, too. Like, not a news report.
I know. Because then we get told that he got run out of New York, and I was like, what, by a sheriff?
I thought that was because San Francisco was giving them a tax cut. I'm sure it's in the comics, maybe, but, like, I think New York was like, well, Spider-Man's there. Get him out.
Yeah, for
San
sure.
Fran's doing a tax cut. You're in San Francisco now.
Maybe. You know what? It probably was like a weird rights thing.
What, to New York? Oh.
Like,
man.
do you reckon they were like, you know how it's like studios own like a portion of a character and not the other bit of it or something like that?
What, just New York as a fictional town?
But it's like they don't, it's like, say they own, perhaps they were allowed to do whatever they wanted with Venom, but they weren't allowed to, they didn't contractually have the origin story.
Gotcha.
So it's like, okay, well, it can't be set there, it can't, because his origin is tied to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So
because he gets the Spider-Man.
Yeah, so like I don't like, who knows? Because I think it's weird that you wouldn't save this character to be in the Spider-Man films, because everybody loves Venom, clearly.
Yeah, so a standalone makes that much money.
Yeah, so
was Sony, because I know they keep making Spider-Man because I think it renews their contract. Is that the thing?
Well, no, they 100% want to have him.
Yeah, like
it's not like the contract thing. It's like the main franchise they have that makes billions. So. But yeah.
Which is hilarious because they literally are just jumping on Marvels, just like
on the coattails.
Just like, oh, we're making a Spider-Man film. They're like, we just made one. They're like, we're making another, and old people are gonna walk into the theater thinking it's another one and gonna be very confused at Tom Hardy and this Venom,
and especially because it's also nowhere near the quality of a superhero movie you expect nowadays.
Yeah,
I was literally just being like, shocked movies like this still, it like feels like from like 2005 or something like that, where you're like, this is frantic, nonsensical, and just like, it reminded me like the Fantastic Four, like the old like that one from the 2000s with Chris Evans, like,
because like Marvel have so perfected, like it's not even test screen, like test audience anymore. It's just like they know what to do.
Yeah. Whereas
this feels like they just got random people from the street went, what do you think? They're like, I don't know. Can it be more gay? It's like, yes, of course it can.
Could Tom Hardy maybe also want to fuck Venom? And they're like, oh, you mean we don't want it to just be subtext? Yes.
Of course we can, Joe. Patient number 5, you're perfect. We'll do whatever you say because you small group of people are our audience.
I I love the idea of test screenings because every director's like, why do we trust these random people that have shown up? And the producers are like, look, we have to. It's a test screening. And the director's like, but why?
They just say whatever they want and they have more power than me.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, they don't like you, that's for sure.
Love the film, hate the director. Can we get rid of the director?
Absolutely. Can I be the director? Yes, you in the crowd. You are now the sole director of this.
You get credit and all the money.
Oh, okay. So Eddie Brock decides to steal or have a look at one of his wife's or fiance's emails.
Yes.
Which has some information on
Very
Drake.
The rapper, not the
Riz Ahmed.
Yes.
And it was at this moment I realized he's a cat person, so I thought you might like him.
That's just cruel. Why do you think every man who owns a cat I like? I do like him. He's insane though.
This is how I imagine you would be if you were single living in San Francisco.
What, just me with a cat drinking 2 liters of orange juice and snooping my wife's emails?
Oh, you're right. To be honest, I've seen you do that in a relationship here in Australia, so I guess
San Fran is not the issue. This is probably the funniest 44 seconds of cinema. So he does this. He then does the interview.
Yeah.
He goes up to his boss. His boss is like, hey, I just did this thing. He's like, well, you don't have evidence. You're fired. As he's walking down with his boxes stuff, he's like, oh, hey, wife. She's like, you stole my...
She's fired too.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's like a meet cute. He's like, hey, I guess we're both fired. She rightly is like, the marriage is off.
We're divorced. And he's like, well, we're 22 into the movie and I've lost everything.
Oh, I do love the fact that Riz Ahmed's character is introduced by like talking to a group of kids.
Yeah.
And one kid's like, I have a question. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Vanessa. And he's like, hey, Vanessa, come out here. Here's a pin. The people that don't shut the fuck up are the doers, and the rest of these kids are rats.
Anyway, run along now. And how's my human experiments going?
It's so convenient because Jenny Slate comes out and is like, you need to change for your interview. Cuts, he's just like put on a turtleneck. Like, why did you need to change? You're already wearing a suit for the kids.
It's too harsh. We need to be more casual. He's in like $1,000 turtleneck.
For sure. Jenny Slate's like, you've been rating much better with a turtleneck. People are really put off by your Adam's apple when they see it.
Why do you think Steve Jobs? Big Apple. That's why he called it Apple. But then they're like, you freaky neck. Get him a turtleneck and some jeans.
Oh god. You know what? We see Riz Ahmed like gets the Symbies. I like that they're color coordinated.
It helps, doesn't it?
It does help. So it's the red one, that'll be Carnage. It's a cute little yellow one, that'll be something.
Yep.
And then that one's the other one.
And blue and black. It's like tick easy done.
I love it. It's like when you got folders in different colors and you're like, it's just fun.
It just makes life a bit easy, you know. And we are sponsored by the admin. We are sponsored by... I'm not going to do this bit.
No, there's no point to it because you know that we're sponsored by Squarespace.
I want to... This is my only goal, is to get sponsorship and just do them so dirty.
Yeah, no.
And essentially not get paid.
Immediately throw it out the window.
Just like that. I just don't think, we want to sell out, but I want to give off the illusion we haven't. But I do want to sell out. I want to waste money. That's the goal for this. And yes, here we are, doing pretty well at it.
So we then see Riot, like, kill everybody in Malaysia.
Yep.
Like, in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I think some of the action's a lot of fun.
It is.
And, like, I'm like, he's a well-seasoned director. He knows where to put things.
He is. I think there's a lot of fun here. I think there's, like, a San Francisco chase. I've never seen a chase scene in San Francisco. I went, this Inside Out needed this. It needed this, and it's not fun without it. It's a lot of fun.
I love like she like crouches around, all the spikes come out and like stab everybody in the area. I wish it was like bloody.
Yeah, I think they were going for an R rating, but they were like PG-13. We want 400.
We want more money.
No,
we saw what Deadpool made, and we want 100 million more than that. You greedy fuckers.
Didn't make $1 billion, Deadpool.
No, I made like 750.
Oh, pennies.
Oh,
pennies.
I know, right? Why bother? And anyway, it's just like 6 months later, and it's like, this is weird. Why?
That was a weird cut, wasn't it?
What's gained by it being 6 months later?
I guess it's just like, he really is I guess we wouldn't believe that his life would immediately turn out so
I'm
shit.
convinced Tom Hardy was playing it so unhinged and so unwell. They were like, there's got to be a 6-month window where we explain that you've deteriorated.
Because he has. At the start, he's like a bit confident and a tiny bit cowardly. At this point, I don't think he's left his house for 6 months, and that's why he's so insane.
So we re-meet the villain, and she's like, hey, we've been testing on rabbits. Whatever. I don't think we should test on humans.
Yeah.
And Riz Ahmed does the most casual threat. It's weird. It's like so polite. He's like, hey, you got kids? And she's like, dun dun dun.
Yeah. And he's like,
I'll do whatever you ask.
Yeah.
And he's like, literally just wanted to know, but cool.
I'm making small chat. I'm trying to get away from the monologues. How are the kids? I'll do it right now. Okay, I guess that works.
He's like, that's fine, but are they okay? You told me your son had polio.
I could fix him with Venom.
With Venom. You gotta get him. Get him. I do like this line. So Tom Hardy's getting drunk at a bar.
Yep.
And then also, I hate the guy that he's sitting next to. The guy's like, hey, some of us are trying to watch this. And I'm like, don't go to the bar to watch news then.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, he's doing an interview tonight. Want to watch it at the bar?
Turn that off. Which is like, yeah, alright. The guy's like, whoa, shush. He's on the screen.
There's something up there. It's not a sports game. Something I have to listen to. Otherwise, I'll have come here for no reason. I've got a 70-inch at home. The interview would have been too big.
I'm too engrossed. I kind of need distractions. But this is too much.
I love Tom Hardy's line, though. He's like, I'm going home to chase myself around and play hard to get.
There's some lines in this that cracked me up.
Oh, so good.
So Jenny Slate is like, hey, Eddie Brock, I know you've been fired for 6 months for like bullying my boss, but you're hired. Get the scoop on him. Get the scoop on him.
Go get the scoop. I have this issue, which is every time that we see, so because we keep seeing them test the Simbi on a human.
Yep.
And the Simbi crawls along the ground, goes up onto someone, then like melts through their shirt.
Yes.
I reckon there should be dirt on the shirt. Because I reckon the symbiote's sticky, it would have picked up dirt from the ground.
How do we feel about the CGI? Because it's very...
Sometimes it's okay.
Yep.
Sometimes it looks really terrible.
It looks like a Snapchat filter sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes it looks awful. I think this movie was done rushed, I want to say. Do you know anything about the production?
It's been like worked on for like 10 years.
I know that they've constantly tried to get people to make it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's the same with Uncharted. They've constantly had directors fall through.
Really?
And then I think Ruben Fleischer just gets it and is like, I'll fucking make it if you shut up.
Yeah.
Like...
We got 5 days. I'll do it.
I'll do it. Is that enough to spend $150 million? Yes.
I can do it. I've done it once. I've done it before.
Because when Tom Hardy was like, there's like 3 hours of improv on the cutting room floor of all these other scenes, and it's like, how much was shot? Like...
There's so much. And there's one scene that gets kept in. We'll get to it. But like...
I assume we're talking about the same scene. It's the scene of the movie.
It's this scene that...
I remember it was the only part... I remember it was the part of the movie where I was watching it in a cinema and went, fucking insane, this is happening right now in a movie. I don't know if it's happened yet or not, but it's like, he's like, oh yeah, I think he's like, hey, that Riz Ahmed guy ruined my life. And I'm like, you did it to yourself.
Pretty bad.
You literally couldn't have just done a normal interview, and then you also threw your wife under the bus, so...
But he was like... But he got fired because he didn't have a source. So I don't know why he didn't say his wife was a source.
Like... I know. Well, I think it's bizarre that... Well, no, because they insinuate he got fired because they paid him off, and they said that it's because he didn't have a source.
Oh, I see.
So, but I don't understand... Because it makes him unlikable. So then he pays like $20 for a newspaper from a homeless person, I think, to seemingly make him more likable.
I think so, but then I also found out that homeless person... They're doing tests on.
Yeah,
later.
she's in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's like, help me, you've got to get me out. And he's like, how'd you even get here? And I'm like, surely that was shot. Like, whatever joins those two things together would have been.
But yeah, no, so his character is either cowardly, the most courageous man I've ever met, or the most unhinged. Because after he gives the money, he then doesn't stop a burglary at this, like, convenience store. So I don't know what his character is.
No, he hates heights.
Hates heights.
Hates heights.
So that doesn't really ever come back.
Sorry?
Or re-established.
Well, it's established when he says, I hate heights.
Yeah, and then he goes, well, moving on.
I think this movie's moving so much quicker than a lot of the ones that we usually watch.
Yeah,
Because it's bombastic, but like
stuff how they know how to keep like it's, and I don't know why we didn't expect this. Like, it's made so much money. It obviously is entertaining.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, he breaks in, that homeless woman's there. He gets attacked by Venom, and then he tries to escape and doesn't realize anything odd's happening.
Oh.
He's like kicking down doors, jumping through fences and crushing trees, and he hasn't taken time to realize he's done that. It's a bizarre choice.
And sure, adrenaline, but he's like, finally at the end, he climbs up this tree because they're like in the twilight.
He's hugging to it like a fucking wild coyote or something like that.
It's so funny. It's like, and then he's like, maybe this is unusual.
It's like, wait a minute. I don't usually climb this far up a tree.
I'm normally climbing pretty good, like 4 meters, but this is high. This is very high for myself.
He's like, I'm great with a rock wall, but this is something else.
All he's been doing is rock climbing for 6 months.
I'm sure you did like an interview of it during that thing where it's like, Eddie Brock looks out for San Francisco. So the henchmen immediately have these forest cars. Do you reckon people constantly escape from this facility?
Yes. The weapons and resources, I know he's super wealthy, this, like, company. But they get cars like that. I don't know who was sitting in a car at the forest. They pay someone to sit in a car and go, if anything breaks out, you chase them through the forest. Why haven't they destroyed the forest? I did so many resources and such wasted... Honestly, and that's the biggest crime in this film. Wasted resources.
It is wasted resources. It's exactly what I imagine Tesla's made.
Oh yeah. Elon Musk has so many random assortment jobs.
I wouldn't be surprised if we found out a Tesla's run like that episode of Black Mirror, where it's like Christmas.
Oh, they put
and they like crush a personality to like run a car.
But they just
wouldn't surprise me.
But they do it with Cars soul.
Yeah. This is how Pixar's Cars was made. It's our future. They take over and then they just live.
It's what they wanted Cars 2 to be, but then John Lasseter got involved and it's a spy film. If they had the balls, they would have gone for the story. But no, they fucking were cowards. Made us a spy.
I don't understand why Riz Ahmed's in such a rush. It's like one day they're on rabbits, the next day they're on human trials, and the next day he's like, well, I guess we should just up the human trials, and the next day he's like, what if it was in me?
Yeah, because like I get like he's like not caring about human life. That makes sense.
But what's the idea that he wants?
He wants to.
Doesn't he want to make another colony?
He wants.
So doesn't he want to save human life?
I think he wants, but I don't even know what is it. Does he not want to be him? Both answers are wrong. I don't know what his plan is.
I have no idea what his plan is. Because his whole thing was like, these people inhabit, if we mix our DNA with them, we could live up there. And I'm like, but there's no ticking time bomb on the world ending.
Jenny Slate has this bit about global warming is going to take over us, but she's like, in 20 years' time.
Yeah, she's like, the next generation this world won't exist for. But that's another generation.
Yeah, give it like kind of a week of testing.
He's like, it's been 6 months, we should be in space by now, living.
Hurry up. Put it in me.
He's like, ooh, put it in me. So this is when Venom starts to talk.
And this is when the film is now a perfect masterpiece. 40 minutes has finally finished, and we get the relationship 2018 deserved.
Oh god, this is what I wish Call Me By Your Name was.
Oh, 100%. They're cowards. If Timothy
Chalamet just pretended Armie Hammer was in his head doing cannibal-y things.
Better film. This film started a bit of a trend called Simbai Brock.
Love it.
I don't know who gets paid for this, but someone does the metrics for like Tumblr. And that was the top ship for the week, and 14th on the list of the 2010s.
Wow.
Yeah,
I probably contributed to that. What can I say? I remember being infatuated after I watched it, and I went, oh god, I would write a story and jack off to that immediately.
Because it's really the story of people that really like, I don't know, slimy tentacle porn. But really...
Hentai? Is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah. But they just don't get the love. They get the dramatic romance. And this film delivers it.
I know.
Fully.
Seeing Tom Hardy play off of himself...
It's fun. Because I thought it was like voiced by like James Earl Grey. Not Earl Grey. Yeah.
Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
I thought a T was voicing him. God, you're British.
He got so much range for that tea bag. Give it an Oscar. But yeah, no, crazy. The fact that he would record his lines at the start of the day and then play it back on a speaker. What was the production of this film? It's insane.
He's clearly having too much fun.
Yeah.
He's freaking out. So here's one of the problems that I have. So the like riots in that old lady, and the old lady gets to the airport.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months.
Yes.
Why'd it take her so long to get to an airport?
The last time we see her, the first time she jumps in a younger woman.
Yeah.
And she slowly walks down a path. She jumps in an older woman. Don't know why. I guess because their bodies deteriorate.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But then she's still in that same woman for 6 months.
Yeah.
Did she walk to the airport?
That's what I thought.
It's not really explained.
But then she still had to get on a plane to get there, so she's clearly fine with taking planes.
But then she gets in a little girl. I don't know why you'd be stuck in a body for 6 months.
Yeah.
But also, like, we can see that Tom Hardy kind of resists Venom, unless Venom kind of lets him do a little bit of the, taking a bit of control. Ooh.
Ooh. Better than 50 Shades, I'll say it now.
This is a much more sexier film.
It's natural bondage.
And quite frankly, I don't know about you, but I was taught.
Fully taught the entire time.
Oh, Riz just gets me going. What can I say?
Do we want to talk about the restaurant scene? Which I think we can both
Yes,
agree.
Carl, I want to talk about the restaurant scene. So fucking bad. I said, what's going on? It's going crazy. Tom Hardy, I think, was given every single... I think the film set must have gone, here, Tom Hardy, you go nuts. Tom Hardy walks into the room and says, I want to get into the lobster tank. They're like, what? He's like, lobster tank. I want to get in. They're like, art department's going to have to reinforce. It's going to take like a day. He's like, I'll wait. And they did.
Yeah. Because it's a phenomenal scene. It's him hitting people, flipping up food, him looking to that guy, and Venom being like, shall we eat him or something? And he's like, no.
He smacks himself a bunch of times. It's like Gollum on acid.
It's, to me, such a phenomenal physical performance throughout. It's like physical comedy.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely killing it. There's a part later where, like, he wants to put his hands up for the police, and Venom keeps putting them down.
He's like, no.
But it looks like he doesn't have control of his body. Like, he's doing a great performance.
I think Tom Hardy was like, this is going to be a comedic movie. I want this to be the Venom thing. And the director was like, what's going on? Sony must have been like, you guys told us a formulaic film. What the fuck's this man doing? You can't control Tom. You can't pin him down. Which makes me think any film that he is pinned down, what a director.
I love that he fucking just rolls over and becomes a bitch for Christopher Nolan. He's like, I'm not going to listen to any director ever. And Christopher Nolan's like, hey, Tom. And he's like, yes.
What's he been? He's been in Inception?
It was in Inception, Dark Knight Rises, and Dunkirk.
He has a bit of fun in Inception. Maybe that's just the writing. But the Dream a Little Big Darling, that's fun.
It is fun. Oscar did the whole gun thing with his hands
It's a whole bit of fun. I'm very happy with it.
You need to learn to dream a little bigger, darling.
He's in the lobster tank, and his ex-wife's like, let's get you hospitalized because this is strange.
I love how everyone's just kind of accepting it there, and then the maitre d's like, I'm gonna call the police, and the boyfriend's like, no, he's my patient, so no. Like, I'd still be like, okay, I'm gonna call the police.
Would you? I don't know. If someone says my patient, I'm like, alright, let's just ride this out and see what happens.
Well, no, because if he just causes more damage, and then the guy's like, well, is the police coming? And you're like, you told me it was his patient. You're like, why would those things coalesce?
I'm just giving you some information.
I'm giving you some information. My name's Dan. That's why he's here. That doesn't mean I can help him.
This is my dog. He's biting my child. Well, I can't do anything. I'm just telling you I own him. If anything, he owns your child now. He's eating him.
The dog's eating it like a snake, like the whole body from the legs up.
The dog is limp, and you just see as a man. There's something so funny about a snake eating anything.
Oh no!
How are they predators?
How do people keep getting killed by snakes?
They're a leathery sock. They shouldn't be predators.
They're like, God, I'm gonna consume you so slowly, and you're like, oh no, this is gonna take hours.
Maybe months.
When you're in the body, couldn't you just poke up and out?
Exactly.
Yeah, the only thing you have is if they like really curl around you and bloody crush you.
I get that, but again, they don't have arms or legs. They've just got a mouth. How are they the predator of... we have so many deadly ones. So people die by a snake. I feel like an owl should be so much more deadly. They can fly, see in the dark, and like have talons.
I know, but they're just wise and Winnie the Pooh.
They are very damn wise. Maybe that's why they're not predators.
They're too wise. They're like, if only a snake could get on my level. So it turns out any of the Venom creatures don't like sound.
Or fire, but this doesn't come up. And I don't know if they knew they're going to get a sequel. But why does this... Because fire never pops up, does it?
No.
Oh, no, it does. The ending.
Right, yeah, sorry, it burns.
Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah. So... But the sound's, like, important to that. It's all through the comics is the sound thing. It's even in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
So, that's just one of his things, I guess. I don't think it's particularly cool that he doesn't like loud noises.
It's pretty lame. But then again, we'll learn that Venom is pretty lame.
The character music and his music didn't like loud noises either.
You know, I think a snake's not a big fan of loud noises. Ow, I can't even put my ears. I can't cover my...
I know.
Do snakes have ears?
No, they don't. They ride through, like, vibrations. They sound like such a silly creature when you keep saying things about them.
And then you said they're actually the top of the food chain. A lion is threatened by it.
Here's the... You know how a lion has a ferocious roar? Well, a snake just goes... like a sexy little snake.
Then what the hell can kill a snake? Well, the humble mongoose is the only thing that can take down a snake.
An owl could kill a snake, but it's just too wise. Doesn't want to engage.
It's reading books like a fucking nerd.
Snakes, are you killing things again? Ridiculous. I'll delve back into Gatsby. He would never deal with this sort of thing.
Oh, Hemingway. Oh, no, it's not Hemingway.
You just prove that you're such a goddamn idiot. But also a bookworm, because you know the name Hemingway.
Well, how have I lost both ways? I thought I was a snake. Turns out I'm a lame owl.
You slithery little snake. Oh, it's funny how like Michelle Williams' boyfriend is like the nicest guy. And
so
like
lovely.
Has a well-rounded just like involvement in the film.
I when he was like, he's such a dick, he's a doctor, I thought they were going to play him up as a dick, but he's like, let's get you some help, Venom.
He's like, good, Tom, your boyfriend does not seem well. And she's like, I know. And he's like, look, I'm worried for him. It's the part where she calls him and he's like, and she's like, hey, I'm going to put the doctor on the phone. And he's like, oh, the doctor, hello. Like,
hey, Dan, how we doing? Hey, man, how we doing? Like, you know.
Should we get lunch sometime, man? Talk about this girl's pussy.
But he would never say that. He's a kind man.
Because he's so nice. Oh man, if he got the symbiote, boy, would Venom just be the nicest guy.
Oh, but I wish he had it. Anyway,
so he goes home, he gets angry at the neighbor, his face changes.
Yeah.
And then all of the SWAT team comes in.
Yes, and at this point, Venom is like, he's trying to learn his powers. He's starting to be like, oh, okay, I can do this and this and this. Well, that's cool. This is a fun scene.
Yeah, it is fun. I like the voice just being like, we should sever all their heads and all their bodies. And he's like, but why? And he's like, then we'd have a pile of heads and a pile of bodies.
It's a win-win. I get food, it's great. I don't know why. It is a weird... It's so... Like, I get what they were trying to go for. Kind of like a menacing kind of character, but it just comes off as like this like angry toddler, like, let's eat their legs.
Well, they kind of, because there's a part where he's like, you know, I'm a loser. And it's like, that's so much of it's played for comedy. Like, there's a part, and I think it's like at the end when it's like, I'm just gonna eat your arms and your legs and your liver, and you're just gonna be a little turd in the wind. And it's like, what are you fucking on about? Who wrote these lines?
I love the loser bit, because like Tom Hardy's like, well, why do you want to not kill the whole human race? And Venom's like, me and you, we're not so different. On my planet, I'm a loser.
Just like you, Eddie. And Eddie's like, hold up, okay.
Have you seen the Eddie Brock report? No loser would be involved in that.
Have you seen me ride a motorbike for 90 minutes? I'm clearly not a loser. It's also funny because they don't give him like Spider-Man things,
yeah.
Webs, so he just has long arms.
Just long arms.
That are webby, but not webs.
No, it is strange that you're definitely right. They definitely have this copyright thing with Spider. I guess how would you make Venom without
doing his connection to Spider-Man?
So then you do just have this man who's just like a slime monster.
Yeah.
That's all he is really, with teeth.
But it's like, because one of the things is, I feel like Eddie Brock and Peter Parker are supposed to be like not on good terms. So it's like,
does he date Gwen Stacy?
Yeah, it's like, could you ever see Tom Hardy dating like Zendaya or something, and Tom Holland being like, I'm upset about this? You'd just be like,
if you put Tom Holland and Tom Hardy in a room with Tom Holland doing his like coy little, I'm just a bit nervous, and Tom Hardy going fucking all fish tank nuts. Give it an Oscar. It's batshit insane.
Tom Holland wouldn't know what to do with himself.
He wouldn't know. He'd just web away. Tom Hardy's just finger banging snacks the whole time. Oh.
Oh god. So he gets on a motorbike. I love it. Venom gets like all sensitive about being called a parasite. He's like, whoa, hey man. What
the hell? I mean, like, listen, I did inhabit your body, but that's the N-word on my planet.
Yeah.
Don't call me it.
Also, I don't understand how his reflection is Venom.
I think...
What's the science behind that?
I don't know, because they do their reflection thing, and then they're like, well, in the next scene when they talk to them, they're like, we don't have a reflection. So then they just have Venom, like a tentacle, and they just like, let's chat.
I love that it's not like I like to envision it's a hand puppet.
Jim Henson was like, I am Venom. We made a personal puppet for Venom. However, it was actually meant for Tom Holland, and then Tom Hardy showed up, so we had to CGI the whole thing. My hand's still there, though.
I just love the idea of this hand with a sock puppet on it talking. They're like, this is going to be the sub-in before the CGI is put on.
Sony paid Jim Henson $1 million to rock up the set. Tom Hardy's already done the lines, just mouth it.
Originally, it was going to be Grover from Sesame Street. Just pop out like wacky shaking his head over it.
Smacking SWAT at people. I'm gonna eat ya.
Grover. It's like that SNL skit for Joker, but it's the Grouch.
Grouchy. Oh, they nailed that one. That was a bit of fun.
Oh, they absolutely crushed it.
Venom licks a person, and I think it's meant to be sexy.
What do you mean meant? It is.
It is. But also, fun fact about the licking scene. Apparently they actually did use a puppet for the licking, and the director, get this, was just like, it's too comical. I'd pay so much money to see Jim Henson with a big tongue just licking a swan.
I love the idea that there's like a whole movie where Venom's a puppet, like a practical effect or whatever. Just it, and him just being like, it's very comical. Just CGI over everything.
I would love if Tom Hardy rocked up a set with a sock puppet on his hand and just like, this is my choice. This is the film. They took the sock puppet away, and that's why he's so mentally deranged in this film. It's like, where's Venom?
It's like they have you ever seen the sequel to The Thing?
Oh, the reboot?
Yeah, but it was like it's a prequel, my mistake.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
So one of the things that like they apparently were all on board for is like the Thing is famous for having practical effects. Mm-hmm. They look great, blah blah blah, and they were like, we're going to do it exactly the same. And then the studio went, let's CGI over the practical effects.
So the practical effects are there.
So they're there, and then they've just put cheap CGI over them, and it looks awful.
That's like, it's like so famous for that.
It's a real bizarre choice. Because they apparently, and I was looking at the behind the scenes stuff, and the practical effects look insane. Because it's like practical effects, but with today's technology.
Exactly. You can 3D print stuff now.
Incredible.
That's so upsetting. Why do they do that? Because
I don't know.
a big bomb, I remember.
Yeah.
But I feel the practical effects were up to it. It'd be like, well, Thing fans.
Thing fans would turn out for
Thing
it.
fans, it's like
fans of Thing 1 and Thing 2 would really turn out.
Who would watch this? The Thing fangs would fucking finger this one. I can tell you that now.
Thing fans will finger themselves to Thing 2, Thingy Thing. Oh God. Anyway, so they have a motorbike chase and stuff. The green screen on him saying lines is some of the worst I've ever seen.
It's atrocious, isn't it?
It's him just being like, that's cool, that's kind of cool, I don't know about this. And then just like somebody quickly drawing the background behind them, being like, what do you mean they're not in New York? I've been drawing the Empire State Building.
Smudge it away with your hands. Thank God I drew it in chalk.
So just throws water at it and it washes away.
That took 9 hours.
It's like the Mary Poppins sketch. Tom Hardy gets trapped inside it.
Oh my God. So this San Francisco, minus the CGI, kind of fun. The chalk painting, there's chalk everywhere.
I love San Francisco.
I think it's a great place to do a drive around sort of.
Well, because it has so many hills and stuff.
Yeah.
They do like a chase in the second Ant-Man. That's like fun. But yeah, it is good. It's a great setting for like it, because it's such a weirdly unique landscape.
Yeah.
They're skinny roads and they're so consistently up and down, like, and crazy steep. I remember walking around San Francisco and my little legs were killing me because of the damn incline. I don't know how you fucking do it, San Fran.
Nothing to add, agreed. The inclines are fucking terrible.
Have you been to San Fran?
I haven't, Carl.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to go.
Sorry, I thought you
but
were...
then a little pandemic was like, you know what, Oscar? Just you personally, you're not going to America.
Oh.
I had my ticket and I was waving at planes, ready to go, and then they went, get up, go back.
So anyway, Jenny Slate's dead.
Yep. But the symbiote that was in her, because is died as well. I guess because it get fed.
Did it die as well?
Yeah, it dies as well. Because Riz is like, what? Why didn't you guys watch and the scientists like, we didn't watch her die. They're like, cowards.
How is not more people blowing the lid on this? So many people work for him are constantly watching people die violently. And Jenny Slate was the only one that went, I have an issue.
I might seek out somebody to figure this out. Yeah, I don't know why no one's... Just quit.
Yeah.
I guess they'll... But he hasn't really shown that he doesn't have a mercenary, but doesn't really look like he kills people to silence them. I don't know, it's very strange. They're all very happy with it.
So Tom Hardy had recorded stuff on his phone, so he wants to go leave his phone with his old boss.
Yep.
I have an issue with this because he breaks in through a window.
Mm-hmm.
He writes a note and sits the phone next to it and is like, do the right thing. It's a tall building, a window's permanently open, and he doesn't put a weight on the note.
Yeah,
it would fly away.
I'm pretty sure it was a tissue as well. It's the most.
I think it was toilet paper that was attached to his foot, and he was like, "Oh, perfect! I'll smear it in shit and write out, do the right thing, asshole."
Who would think that this is? Like, what would you... If you walked into this situation, I'd assume they've killed somebody. Do the right thing. It doesn't matter if there's a phone there. There's broken glass everywhere. There's shit smeared on the walls. I'm upset.
I would love it. Just be like, do the right thing. And just like, I feel attacked. And I don't want to touch the phone.
Does Spike Lee want me to watch a film? What's going on?
So then you have like another battle thing. Thoughts? I wish this was the one where I went, I wish this was violent. He's like smacking people around with somebody else's body.
Yeah,
and
it's just okay.
Yeah.
You are right. I mean, I don't like saying like it should be R-rated, but like it's implied that he's doing some heinous stuff.
Yeah.
Because then his wife sees it.
And it's like one of the things that I think made Deadpool cool and stand out as a superhero movie. Same with Logan. Yeah. It's just like seeing violence in superhero movies to me hasn't run out of steam. It still feels mildly unique. And I'm sure that'll change as more superhero movies become more violent. But at the moment for me, I was like, it'd be another thing that separates it, is like if it had cool violent action.
If you saw a man like get chomped like properly, because you can't see them like, the head's gone.
Yeah.
No snake, it's just like a little... Nice. Yeah, but if you saw like some proper, it'd be quite nice. But yeah, because that would make sense. Because like Michelle Williams shows up, she's like, "What are you doing?" And Tom Hardy's like, "It's Venom," and she's like,
"You gotta get him, get him,
Venom." And she's like, "Well, let's go to my great boyfriends, and we'll get you the doctor's help you need."
So they separate them using sound.
Yep.
And then Venom escapes. Tom Hardy's immediately captured, like in the lobby.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
walks out the door and is shot with a dart. And nobody notices just because Michelle Williams closed the door, like
a glass door as well.
Yeah.
It's like, well, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's only had a
push him out of here.
Should we not look after him? An alien's been in his body for like 7 days.
Nah,
let him go.
She's paid such little attention in the time that they're separated, and she turns her head. Venom escapes, and Tom Hardy's taken away and captured. Like she's like, "Cool, I fucked up immediately."
Again, it's a glass door. She can see Venom like trying to open like the ceiling. She's like, "Well, that won't be an issue."
So Riot then gets into Riz Ahmed. Riz Ahmed and Tom Hardy meet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy's like, "Shit, Venom's not here. I miss him."
He's like, "I miss Venom. I gotta get him back."
Venom.
So then there's like another. For some reason, they don't want to kill Tom Hardy in the facility. They're like, "We'll march you out into the woods."
Yeah, because at first I thought they thought Venom was in him, so like, we can't kill him because he's got it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh no, he's not in him. I guess just take him out to the woods
Yeah.
to kill him."
Kill him silently. You know how we just massacred Jenny Slate downstairs without any interruptions?
Mm-hmm.
Take Tom Hardy to the woods.
This man's a threat, so make it dramatic, make it a bit aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know, we want a bit of showmanship here.
The guy's like got the gun. He's like, "Remember last time? And you climbed a tree and shit. Look at you now."
Well, there's no trees now. A tree ain't gonna save you. As his men are getting snatched up, and Tom Hardy's like, "This is comical."
And then some Michelle Williams as a female Venom slithers into the scene.
This director, and I think it's either a sin or they knew exactly what they were doing. They're like, "Let's make this sexy. Let's make this," because this beforehand, I think you could be like, "Well, people are stretching. They're not." But this was totally going, "Well, we want people to make porn of this, and that will make us money."
I think they were like, "Look, we've got so much fucking action for the women in this watching sexy Venom. We need some sexy female Venom for the boys."
Well, because the trailer, like the first two are like kind of like gritty, hard, edgy, and then the third one's comedy and a bit of sexy like Venom, and it's like, oh, they just went, "Fuck it, porn sells. We're writing this. This will make us a lot of money."
Violence, drugs, and sex sells, baby. So then I love this because Venom kills all the people that are going to hurt Tom Hardy. He then makes out with Tom Hardy so sexually, so sensually.
Yeah.
And Venom goes back into Tom. Who wanted the kiss? Michelle Williams or Venom?
I think we both know who it is. This is, I think, this is a queer tale.
Because they're like...
This is beautiful. It's queer coding 101. Just like, he enters through a kiss, and he's like, "I missed you, buddy."
Because there's a part where Tom Hardy's like, "You're killing me from the inside? You were killing me? I've had enough." And it's like, played like at the midpoint of a romantic comedy.
I said that.
We're breaking up.
It's like, will they, won't they?
Literally, to me, the concept to go, what if Tom Hardy and Venom were in a bit of a relationship, like a romantic film, is a phenomenal way to do the character.
If they, I don't think anyone would have pitched that and allowed that.
Yeah.
But then Tom Hardy's went, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go balls to the wall. And if someone can see my vision trickle through, then I've done it right.
One of the things I wish the movie committed to was not having Riz Ahmed be like a big Riot villain, but I wish like the little girl had just stayed Riot.
Yeah.
Do you think that would have been unique?
It would have been. It's just like, "Hey, little girl."
Yeah.
Scares you. Yeah. Yeah, you are totally right though, because that little girl just shows up at his facilities like,
and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Kneels down to her. "How'd you get in?" And then just gets inside of him, and the next scene Riz Ahmed's like, I'm pretty confident with this. I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
Because also, what are the odds that Riot would perfectly work with Riz Ahmed?
I don't know.
Because they say the odds with Tom Hardy were unlikely.
Yeah, because they keep going that all the test subjects they get, they're like, well, they're not compatible.
Mm.
I don't know what the science is.
Yeah.
Again, the science is aliens jumping into bodies and going. What are they? Is it? You have to be like them. Because I guess Venom's a loser, Tom Hardy's a loser, but also just insane.
Yeah.
And I guess Riz Ahmed's like very powerful, like Riot's. Is that it?
Because they're like, oh well, Riot's like a team leader.
Mm.
So Riz Ahmed's like a team leader.
I guess so. Also,
sorry, Drake.
Drake. It's actually insane that this alien planet has almost identical like politics to to Earth when they're slime people. I don't get why they're so similar.
Look at Venom. He's so slimy and shitty. What a loser. And Venom is like, oh, woe is me.
If only I could escape. If I hope for the second one. I'm scared if they commit to this, they'll ruin it.
I reckon the second one's going to be too serious.
You reckon too serious?
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
I reckon they're going to course correct and it won't be as funny and silly.
That's really upsetting.
Do you know who's directing it?
Yeah, I do. It's Andy Serkis.
It is.
And he's directed
Mowgli.
which has mixed reviews.
He also did Breath or Breathe, I think. It's the one where Andrew Garfield's in a wheelchair.
Is that the whole film?
I think so.
Andy Serkis actually did the mocap for the wheelchair.
He plays Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield said no to the picture and he went, I'm just going to mocap you.
We've got your face on file, cunt.
And I think from this point on, what disappoints me is I was having so much fun and but it falls into a generic third act superhero trope.
It does.
It's like a lot of CGI heavy action, a plot I don't really care about because what I care about is the silliness.
Oh, and the romance. Because and I will say this, it does climax in a beautiful way. So they're fighting.
They climax in a beautiful way, or you climaxed in a beautiful way?
Both. I'm pretty sure they definitely. Anyway, so Venom, Riot, Riz, and Tom Hardy are fighting, and they're doing all their shits. And Venom's like, I don't think I can take him, and Tom Hardy's like,
together,
like it's like that, just like girl holding hands. Riot stabs Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
and then Venom like true love kisses him. Which is like,
that's so cute.
Let's jump and do it.
One of the things that I thought was hilarious during this is Riz Ahmed's gone like mad with power.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna be the one to fly the ship, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And the focus reaffirms on this extra in the background going, oh no, oh shit. Do you remember that? It's the wildest thing. Just, oh no. Oh, this isn't what I signed. Oh no. And just his look is like, I'm gonna have to fix this. Because in the next scene, he just tries to enter anything and dies immediately. And it's like, what was the point of you?
He was like, oh, I promised I wouldn't let this happen. This was my only job. They hired me to make sure Riz doesn't get taken over by Riot and overdo this rocket thing. And I was chuffed. 20 years I've been doing this job, not a single hitch. And now, today of all days.
It's like he'd been telling his co-workers for so long, and then just saw it and went, oh no, I'm right. Oh no. Daniel, he's gone mad with power. Didn't I say? Samantha!
Samantha's looking over like, you did guess it. I'm like, yeah I did.
Like, it's what I fucking... Shit!
I'm gonna have to fix this.
That's the only thing I think is worth discussing. That and Riot does like axe hands that I think would have been cool to see people get sliced in half.
I think so too. I think we're negating that Venom
is gonna get him.
But no, so they break the rockets, and as they're falling, the rocket's gonna blow up. What does Venom do? He sacrifices.
He turns himself into a parachute.
He Incredibles. Mrs. Elastico Incredibles. Venom is then burnt up. And it's like Iron Giant.
Did you cry?
I cried. I almost cried. Because I was that invested in their relationship. I'm like, Venom loved him so much. He would kill himself to save Tom. That's beautiful.
This movie's so goofy. I love it.
So how does he survive? So Venom has like parachuted. So he takes all the fire damage.
Yeah, but how does Venom survive?
Oh, I've got no clue. Because then suddenly...
Because they flat out kill him?
Yeah. Because then Tom Hardy's talking to Michelle Williams just like, yeah, I really miss him. And then Venom's like, I'm hungry.
Venom's like, when are you going to tell her that me and you have been fucking on the side?
He's such a gossip. In one scene, he's like, hey, patch it up with her. You might not get a second chance.
He's the type of co-worker that's like, hey, Sally's gained weight, hasn't she? Like,
he's such a little gossip.
Such a little gossip.
He's just like...
And the person's like, I don't know, yeah, I guess. And then he flat out turns around to Sally and is like, Ryan thinks you're fat. Like,
just tell me.
Just tell me about it. And then it's like, oh no, is there a riff happening between you two? Heaven forbid.
Oh my god, office drama.
Now, were you insanely confused that the movie ended and there were like 22 minutes left?
I was... Okay, so I'll be honest. When I started this, the day... I quickly Googled it, and I was like, 2 hours 20? Ah, fuck. So I bought it on YouTube so I could speed through it. Turns out it was an hour 50. I'm like, oh, great, half an hour done. 1.25 speed. It finishes at 90 minutes, so this film went very quickly.
Because I remember it being so short when I saw it in cinemas.
Yeah.
I went, no way was it an hour and 57 minutes.
Yeah.
And it wraps up and it ends, and I was like, is that scene with Woody Harrelson like 20 minutes long?
Yeah.
What is it? So we'll talk about the Woody Harrelson scene.
Yeah.
Worst wig I've ever seen. Woody Harrelson in a Red Wing, 10 out of 10.
I wrote that so excited that Alcatraz, Woody Harrelson is in a Ronald McDonald wig, rising in blood. Hello, Eddie.
I love it too, because it's almost like the laziness of Woody Harrelson working with the heightenedness of Tom Hardy, as Woody Harrelson's like, I'm just not going to be a serial killer. Should we drop that?
What about the wig? Keep the wig. You know when...
Carrot Top.
It's that. You know when Now You See Me Too, his twin?
Yeah.
If he carries that energy and Tom Hardy's energy in the second film, this might be the greatest... If Andy Serkis fucks this up, I'll be furious.
Do we put Now You See Me Too in the sequels month? And we'll knock out something else?
Maybe, yes.
Oh.
That'd be good.
Wow, that's gold for the listener right now.
It's ironic because the first one's the fucking worst, but second one I could watch every day.
So then this scene ends, and there's still 15 minutes of credits left. Did you watch to see what happens?
Yeah, it's the Spider-Verse trailer.
What? Yeah, but like 10 minutes of Spider-Verse.
It's such a long amount, and I was like, 2018, I guess they'd finished a chunk of it.
But I'm like, is it not a different audience?
I guess I mean, Spider-Man. You like Spider-Man?
I get that, but it's like, yeah, especially because like Spider-Verse is such a better film in every way. It's almost like the studio went, oh, this is terrible. We should let them know that we do good things as well.
Just so you know, here's 10 minutes of a film that's the greatest Spider-Man thing you'll ever watch. So it kind of evens out.
It's like if at the end of The Lion King, they were like, just put 10 minutes of Endgame on. Just let them know that we still do things that are good. Like,
hey guys, look, we did all this stuff.
Okay, Oscar, who would watch this?
It seems as though this is probably the film I think the most people have seen. But maybe Cocktail? I don't know. I feel like over the years, but let's say right now...
Cocktail in inflation definitely cracks $1 billion.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. But this film, I think a lot of people watched it, and the consensus is that it was okay, kind of bad. One Google search was that a lot of people have questioned, is Venom a good guy? So really, I don't know...
Will they commit to him being a villain? Because Carnage is the villain in the next one, but if they want to ever tie in Spider-Man, it's Spider-Man's villain. Yeah. I don't want to see Venom be an anti-hero in association with Spider-Man.
No, but I like him on his own.
Yeah, he's fun in this.
Yeah.
This is for me. I did not like this much when I saw it, and after watching it today, I put my review up.
Yeah, I think if you're a bit cynical, give it a rewatch. I think it's unintentionally very good. I think if you took out, and I do think if they do that for the sequel, it will be just a
slog, I reckon.
Yeah, it'd be painful.
Yeah.
like Venom and their interaction, I don't think it's good, but it's just so like misguidedly fun.
The Tom Hardy, to me, does one of the most physically funny performances.
In a lot of superhero films. I
can't think of comedies that have tried to do strong physical comedy as of late that have succeeded as well as him.
But it's strange because he's not going for that. I think he was pretty much... Do you think he read the script and went, this is what I want it to go? Because I think he gets pretty close to where he wants it to be.
Yeah, definitely. There's another movie that I love called Upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
That does a similar thing.
Is that first person?
No.
Which one am I thinking of?
Hardcore Henry.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Upgrade's phenomenal.
Oh, he gets the robotic arm, doesn't he? Yes.
Well, yeah, he gets a stem put into his body, and it takes over him. And that actor, Logan Marshall Green, does an incredible job acting like... There's a part where he's like literally killing a man, and he's just like freaking out with his facial expressions, but his actual body's doing the thing. And he did like very extensive training to learn how to do all of the martial arts and stuff in that movie. And that's just... I fucking love Upgrade. Upgrade's a phenomenal film. And Australian, so go it.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a Blumhouse one, but it's shot in Melbourne. And it's the guy that did The Invisible Man and Saw. So, but that to me is if you wanted to do Venom serious, Upgrade's probably more of the way that it would go.
Yep.
For a silly, campy superhero movie that I thought would be generic and boring, this is pretty fun.
This is higher rated than a lot of the other superhero movies I've watched. So who would watch this?
I don't know if it's for fans of Venom, but God, if you're wanting something wacky in the superhero genre, I guess this is for you.
This is definitely for you.
If you like mystery men, this is for you.
If you've watched Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and went, I wish Tom Hardy was in this, but just on crack, then this is for you. Okay, Carl, what was your palate cleanser?
I watched another movie that was set in San Francisco that I hadn't seen in a long time, starring Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn, called Foul Play. You ever heard of it? I think it's from the 80s or the 70s.
I haven't, actually. Is it a comedy? What is it?
Yeah, it's like a comedy, but it's like a mystery thriller comedy. Okay. It's like she is coming back from a wedding, driving down the coast, and she picks up a hitchhiker. And the hitchhiker's like trying to run away from someone, and it's like, hey, let's go to a movie. And then gives her this film and puts the film in cigarettes and gives her the cigarettes. Then later comes to the movie after it started, and he's been like stabbed. And then she's like, everything he's saying is perfectly in line with what's happening in the movie. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, that is what's happening. And he's like, no, there's been a stabbing. And she's like, I don't think they'd stab the main character. And he's like, and then dies. Yeah. And then she has to go and be like, there's been a murder, and comes back and the body's gone. And then just a whole mystery like spirals out from there. And it held up much better than I thought it would. It's a lot of fun.
Mid-80s or something like that?
Must have been.
And
it's a young Chevy Chase. Like, the movie's trying to portray Chevy Chase as like attractive, so like it's clearly young. Yeah,
like which is such a funny pivot to like now, which is so funny. Yeah, he's a strange man.
But yeah, some stuff in it probably doesn't hold up. Some of the humor in terms of it being a little
which one?
Not politically incorrect,
sexy sort of which
a bit offensive to sizist. I don't know.
Sizist, I guess that's it.
Yeah, sizist. Oscar, what'd you watch?
Carl, I watched a 2020 film. I thought it was 20. I mean, it's out now. It's been out, but I watched Boss Level, and that's directed by Joe Carnahan. I didn't love it. I think it's pretty. I think it's meant to be like, so. Essentially, this guy, it's like a Groundhog Day but action film, kind of in the same. Imagine Deadpool. But not Deadpool. Same sort of comedy timing with Groundhog Day. Yeah. And it's not meant to be taken very seriously, but it's such a weird mismatch. Like, it's almost self-aware enough that it works, but then the main character is like this, like an action figure. And I think it'd be way more interesting and funny if they kind of actually put this action man in like he's meant to be like reconnecting with like his wife and his son. And it's played like completely seriously. And it's like, why do that? Just go, what would this man who kills every day really do to his son? it's but a lot of people are loving it,
Mm.
and you're keen for it, aren't you?
Yeah,
Why?
because I like Joe Carnahan films.
Which films do you like of his?
I like Smoking Aces.
Mm-hmm.
I like The Grey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't love it, but I definitely think somebody could have made a much worse version of the A-Team.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched the A-Team in ages.
It's just another silly action movie, but I think it could have been so much worse.
He's in tires. I remember he gets rolled down a hill.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. And then I remember at the end they do fireworks. They drive a bunch of cars.
Yeah. He's like, I also like Stretch, which is a comedy that he wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also wrote the new Bad Boys that I thought was fun.
Oh yeah, Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah. So, and he was supposed to direct it, but he didn't end up directing it.
Who directed that one?
Two people from like TV.
Oh,
so,
cool.
but they got another big picture recently, and I was like, good for them. They do very energetic action.
Nice.
So yeah.
But yeah, it was fun to go to the movies. It was a strange experience though.
Why'd you pick that one of all the films that are out? Because there's like high-profile Oscar movies out.
Yeah, I feel like a fool. It was mainly just timing. Minari was at 9.
Yeah.
And I was there at 7. I was like, I'm not waiting.
Did you watch it with your partner?
Yeah, I did.
Right.
It was a strange cinema. It was just me and her, and then 3 men each came into the theater.
All Joe Carnahan?
Yes. They all sat a seat apart from each other and took notes. So I don't know if they were reviewers.
Fuck, they're definitely podcasters.
They're definitely podcasters. There are competitions, so I slashed their tires.
How do you feel about sitting next to somebody in a cinema? Like somebody you've come with?
I don't mind the experience. Why?
That's what and some people seem to be like, no, you don't sit next to the person. Like,
what? Who?
And it's wild. I have like a handful of friends that like to have like a seat gap.
Get some new friends.
Yeah, it's you. I smell. I get it.
You kept kissing me during Venom. I wasn't down. Anyway,
because I'm gonna get him.
Venom.
All right, Oscar. Next week we will be watching Catwoman, the Halle Berry classic, as part of our Bad Movie Month's theme.
And if you love Catwoman, but even love other films other than Catwoman, you should email us at askwwwtpodcast@gmail.com and request any film you want. Fuck it. We'll do it.
Yeah, you know what? Ask us to review fucking Roma.
We'll do it.
We'll do it.
We'll
make
black
fun
and white.
of Roma. Ridiculous. What good direction? You're killing me.
You know this guy directed Cat in the Hat? Cinematography. Stupid.
Idiot.
Anyway.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Goodbye.